he got hit pretty hard, and he stayed down for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And then...
we were confused at the game because they weren't really... The announcer on the overhead wasn't really talking about it, but we kind of inferred.
But then the official turns on his mic and says that the injury spotter has asked number 8 to come out of the game.
What's up, guys? Cody here with Don in the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, coming at you with podcast episode number 13, lucky number 13. We just caught this new merch. Came in last week. We repped it at the CFL game last week, Bombers against Argos. We got a couple different colors, and we're working on some other unique style pieces as well. So if you're interested in getting one, make sure you leave us a comment below. We'll make that happen for you. Got to figure out pricing and all that stuff, but we'll figure it out. So episode 13 today. 13 episodes in. Don, why don't you kick us off?
All right. The first topic I'd like to bring up, I don't know if you saw it, and it's a little bit late now, it was last Wednesday, but I saw it. AEW Blood and Guts.
I saw bits and pieces. Man.
Okay, first of all, congratulations, AEW, for back-to-back stellar shows. We had Dynamite 250. We had Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It's okay, so they have one ring and they have the other ring, so two of them side by each.
Yeah.
Put a big cage over top of it.
I've never seen anything like that.
They have 10 guys going in at specific intervals, and then once all 10 guys are in, then the match starts. Meanwhile, these guys are kicking the shit out of each other for the opening, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour. I will be linking both the full show or just the last half an hour of the cage match in the description.
Yeah.
But these guys were pulling out everything, like staple guns, street signs,
skateboard with thumbtacks,
with anything they could get their hands on. And I'll just say quickly, when they were hitting Swerve with this staple gun, and you could see the staples in his body. So these guys weren't playing with this thing. It was crazy. I'm not going to say too much about it because I would like you to watch it on the link that I put in. And another pay-per-view quality match on TV for nothing. I thought it was just spectacular.
The whole card was pretty good too. Like, that was the end of the match.
MJF in the beginning was just typical MJF. He was on fire. If you get a chance, I recommend tune into it and see what it's like.
Learning Tree.
That's it for you.
All right. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's been an unfortunate scandal that's tainted the Canadian Olympic team in the first couple days. So I guess last week. So soccer starts a little bit earlier. I think they have like one or two games, or one game at least, before the actual opening ceremonies, just because there's so much going on. But the Canadian team, women's team specifically, the men aren't in the tournament, were caught with the drone flying over the New Zealand practice, taping their practice ahead of their match that they played on last Wednesday. So there was like an assistant coach and then another team advisor that were sent home, along with the head coach, who was dismissed and also banned for a year. Canada also got a -6 point deduction. So,
but they're appealing that right now.
It got dismissed. I was just reading that this morning.
What do you mean it got dismissed?
Like they're upholding the 6 point deduction,
which
doesn't look like it's going to matter for the Canadians because they did win their first two games, so now they're back at 0. They play Colombia this afternoon, so if they win that game, they should make it out of the group stage because Colombia will have 3 points. France, if New Zealand beats France, then Canada can actually top the group. But they should be, if they beat Colombia, they should make it through
because of goals.
Yeah. And because the other teams haven't, no one else will have more than 3 points. So it didn't really hinder them. It is unfortunate that this is happening, that they needed to do that, or felt that they needed to do that. I don't know who was directly behind it. The coach, Bev Priestman, did mention that she wasn't aware of the the spying scandal. Obviously, she stepped down and they banned her for a year. So disappointment for Canadian, tainting their team. But I think the players weren't involved and they'll pull through. So that's exciting for them.
All right. Let's talk about CFL officiating. As we were saying before, we were at the Argo game just this past weekend. Okay, so far we've completed 8 weeks, so that would be 32 games. I'm going to say I've seen all of them except for 2.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a bad call determine the outcome of a game. In fact, at the game that we were at, there was, I think, 4 or 5 penalties the whole game.
Yep.
There was a play when the Argos were coming down in the fourth quarter, and it looked like it could have been pass interference. There was no flag thrown. There was no challenge flag thrown. But Control Center said, hold on a second. We're going to look at this. Like, who does that? Like, they want to make sure everything is done fair and
very
square.
thorough with all the players.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's the one thing that has always been bothersome is if a bad call determines the outcome of a game.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I don't know if they have it in the NFL or not, but it was in the second quarter when Zach Caleros, he got hit pretty hard and he stayed down for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And then...
we were confused at the game because they weren't really... The announcer on the overhead wasn't really talking about it, but we kind of inferred.
But then the official turns on his mic and says that the injury spotter has asked number 8 to come out of the game. So they got someone in the stands or somewhere, and he said, hey, he looks like he might have hit his head.
Yeah.
Let's bring him out so we can check him out.
Assess him, yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool, actually. So,
yeah. So far, yeah, CFL officiating's
bang on.
Bang on, yeah.
You're up.
All right, as I mentioned earlier, the Olympics are underway. If you haven't already checked it out, make sure you check out our Olympic video. It's our most viewed video so far to date, not including shorts. And we did a little preview, talked about the sports, all that fun stuff. But the Olympic ceremony was on Friday. Now, because we're a sports channel, I will neglect to talk about the absolute heinous act that was the opening ceremony. Skipping over that, we will go ahead to the sporting events that have already happened. And there's been some cool stuff. I watched the BMX biking, like the freestyle stuff where they're in the skate park and they're doing all the tricks and stuff. And man, you got to say, like, it's really cool to see these kids. Like, a lot of them are young kids. Like, I know in the skateboarding, it's like an 11-year-old kid from China that's competing in the Olympics, and a lot of the BMXers were in their like young 20s. I mean, a lot of the athletes are like that, but notable gold medals so far. The Canadian or the women's gymnastics team from USA. They were saying that they surprised the doubters or whatever, but I think they were going to win no matter what. They had the best team. They got gold yesterday. Canadian synchronized diving duo did pretty well as well. I think they got a bronze medal the other day. We mentioned the soccer's already started. Canadian basketball looks good. They're 2-0 in their first 2 games against Greece and Australia. Australia was a tough matchup. That was a good game. The U.S. men will play again today for the basketball. What else do we have? Have you caught any of it at all, the Olympics?
The only thing that I will say, and I'll say this very quickly because we got seconds. I was going to watch a small amount of it, but after those opening game ceremonies, I'm not watching any of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have that opinion.
It was so bad.
Unfortunately, we haven't even had a chance to talk about that, actually.
We can talk about it after the next topic. But I absolutely refuse to watch it now.
All right, so back, final topic of the day. Exciting time of year, best time of year. It's like Christmas for me. My birthday was last week. Now we got early Christmas. The NFL is back. Thursday night, tomorrow night, preseason game, the first preseason game, Texans at the Bears, Hall of Fame game. You know what? We just had our last weekend until February without NFL football. It's a glorious time of year. It's a glorious time to be alive.
Yeah, I haven't really watched any of the preseason.
No, I don't watch preseason, but it is exciting to have NFL football back. We're that much closer to the regular season, which starts in September. I'm trying to go to a couple games next year, so it should be an exciting time. And yeah, this is when sports kind of gets back into full swing. We're almost in. I mean, we started our progress in April at the end of the season, pretty much. I mean, we had the playoffs for the first 2 months for NHL and NBA.
Yeah, which was pretty good.
But like we've pretty much like our whole podcast. There's been something going on to talk about. Whether it was playoffs, whether now we've got the Olympics, where we had the soccer,
or just how exciting the CFL.
The CFL. Sorry, I didn't even mention the CFL.
Just exciting football.
Yeah, NFL is back. It's the start of the new sports year. College football will be back as well. And yeah, I think it's a great time. And I mean, so we got one game this week, Thursday, and then the rest of the teams will play next week. There's only one preseason game now. And yeah, so no more football is back until February. And I am excited, if you can't already tell.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it too, but right now I'm glued to 4 CFL games a week. So I might leave in the beginning some of the NFL to you and then get caught up after the CFL's over. Because we've got hockey starting too soon and everything else.
It's good. We're not even going to have enough time to cover all the topics that we're going to want to cover. Like, we're going to have to be super selective in a couple months. But yeah, CFL has been great. Like, we went to the game last year. Sorry, I guess we're going to just go on a little ramble here. But we went to the game last week, Bombers and Argos, and it was a cool atmosphere there, eh?
I loved it.
I guess we can save this for the next. We'll save this for the CFL.
We'll save it for the next one.
Yeah, but good time of year. Olympics will be going on for the next week or two as well. We still have all the track events, which haven't even happened. So there's still a lot of. So next week will be a cool podcast to get into. I'll probably get a deep dive into that. Because still got to celebrate the athletes, regardless of the Olympic Committee and all that stuff that went into it. Still got to celebrate how great the athletes are, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. So that's it for today's episode. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. I mentioned earlier at the beginning, but don't forget to smash that like button if you guys enjoy these videos. Hit subscribe. We just hit the 20 subscriber mark, which is a big milestone for us. We're hoping to get to 30 by the end of August. 35? 50?
Oh, I'm going higher than 30.
So we'll try and get to 40. We'll try to double our subscriber by the end of August.
Yeah, obviously we're a brand new channel, and we're growing slowly, but we're growing.
Yeah, every day we're seeing new growth, which is exciting. It keeps us motivated. It keeps us engaged in doing these podcasts. And yeah, I just love keeping up with all the sports news. That's what I love about this podcast. Is like we pick the 5 most exciting things for us in the last sports week, or what we are interested in.
Yep.
And like we always say, guys, if you have anything that you want to hear us talk about, make sure you leave us a comment below. We're happy to get into it, give you guys a shout out, all that fun stuff. We're doing more prizes in the later podcasts for those that keep up the engagement. So remember that, keep that at the back of your mind, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks again.
See you later.